Hey, so today we're going to be talking about what a Maester is. What do they learn? What does it take to become a Maester? What's their hierarchy? And what do they get up to? Well, let's get into it. In my video about the Citadel, I mentioned that boys and men would travel from all over Westeros to Old Town to study at the Citadel. Now, this is an action usually seen as honourable by most people, but maybe like a third or fourth son, someone who's not likely to inherit. And this is because by going to Old Town and studying, yeah, sure, you can study and not go the whole way and become a Maester, but surely the reason in going there is you want to be successful, so you'll become a Maester. But a Maester's life is servitude, and you give up your family name. It's a respected job within society, but some nobles like Randyll Tarly might consider this a lowly profession for their offspring. The Maesters are an order of scholars, healers, messengers, and scientists, sometimes called the Knights of the Mind. They study at the Citadel in Old Town and teach new students there. Most Maesters go off to serve Westerosi noble families as a learned advisor, doctor, accountant, and even an administrator of sorts. So what do they learn? What's in their education? When they arrive to start studying at Old Town, they are referred to as novices. There is no age requirement, and despite the prejudice of some archmaesters to status of birth, males of every social status are allowed to forge their maester's chain. Commoners, bastards, younger children of lords, and even royalty can study together at the Citadel. Archmaesters give open lectures, which the students can attend at will. Students who violate the rules of the Citadel can be ordered confined to their rooms by Maesters. They can also receive more physical punishments. For example, for stealing from the kitchens, rectors might place them in stocks at the seneschal's court, where acolytes may throw rotten vegetables at them. Once a student believes he has sufficient knowledge on a particular subject, he can go before an archmaester to demonstrate his knowledge. If the archmaester judges the student's knowledge to be proficient, he awards him with a link of metal reflecting the topic. We'll get into those later. Once they have earned a link for their chain, they become acolytes. Acolytes train at letters at the scribe's hearth and could be hired by Old Towners to read and write their letters, or even write their wills. Not all who start their studies will complete their chain. Old Town is full of aging acolytes and novices who have either never started their chains or never finished forging them. Others leave the Citadel before completing their chain on purpose. Gunthor Hightower studied for several years at the Citadel, although it's not known whether he earned any links while there. Both Lord Lionel Strong and Prince Oberyn Martell left the Citadel after forging 6 links. Some students learn only about healing and may become barbers, serving small folk with leeches, setting broken bones, and shaving and cutting their hair. It is not known how long a student generally takes to forge a chain. Maester Yandel earned his first link in 285 AC and completed his chain in 292 AC at the age of 20, while Aemon, who took several more years to forge his chain, took his Maester's vows at the age of 19. The speed at which a student earns his links differs between each student. While some might take a year per link, for example, Armon, exceptional students might earn as many as 3 links within a year, like Aleras, possibly even more. Right, so they've got their Maester's chain. Oh, I hope you like mine. Mine just means I've got lots of links in water magic. So they've got Maester's chain. Let's get into that. A Maester can be recognised by the chain he wears around his neck. The collar is intended to remind a Maester of the realm he serves. The links of a chain can be made of every metal known to man. By earning their links, students forge their chain. Forge is metaphorical. Though they do study metals at the Citadel, they don't actually train as blacksmiths. Maesters never remove their chain, not even while sleeping, and it is considered a great shame for a Maester to surrender his chain. The Citadel can decide to strip a Maester of his chain, thereby exiling him from the Citadel. This is done as punishment for things like cutting open living people or practicing necromancy. It's unknown how many links one must earn to become a Maester, but it's known that you do not have to have every possible link. It is known that it does have to be more than 9 links, since the acolyte Lorcas has earned 9 but is not yet eligible to become a Maester. According to George R.R. Martin, it's possible to earn multiple links of the same metal. Multiple links of the same metal on a Maester's chain signifies the expertise of the Maester on the subject. The metals of which a student can earn links for their chain include black iron, signifying ravenry, brass, bronze, signifying astronomy or astrology, perhaps history, copper, signifying history, electrum, yellow gold or red gold, which signifies the study of money and accounts, or sums and numbers. Littlefinger's got like a lot of gold links, y'all. I'm kidding, I don't think he actually went to the Citadel, I'm joking. Iron, signifying warcraft, lead, pewter, platinum, silver, signifying medicine, healing, and the functions of the body, steel, tin, and Valyrian still, signifying the higher mysteries. While there are only 15 known links, and thus only 15 known subjects of expertise taught to the Citadel, there are 21 current Archmaesters at the Citadel, for only 8 of whom a speciality is known. It's currently unknown if each of these Archmaesters are specialised in a separate subject, or whether multiple Archmaesters can be specialised in the same subject. However, the fact that Maester Gorman takes Archmaester Walgrave's place in judging those attempting for the Ravencraft link, but is not an Archmaester himself, is a strong indication that there can only be one Archmaester per subject. Only one Maester in 100 holds a Valyrian steel link. And so, like other jobs in the Seven Kingdoms, like serving the Night's Watch, becoming a knight or a member of the King's Guard, Maesters also swear vows. When an acolyte has completed his chain and is prepared, he can swear a Maester's vows. The night before, the acolytes must stand vigil in a vault with a black glass candle, made of razor-sharp obsidian. He's placed in a completely dark room with the glass candle, and must stay in that room for the entire night in darkness. The acolytes are not allowed any other source of light, unless he is able to light the candle. The tradition serves as a lesson about truth and learning. When an acolyte of noble birth takes his vows and dons his chain, he must put aside his house name. He swears sacred vows, promising to hold no lands or lordships, and to be celibate. Maesters serving in the Night's Watch on the wall, like Maester Aemon, are doubly sworn, and uphold both the Maester's vow and the oaths of the Night's Watch. Okay, so let's look at the hierarchy down in the Citadel. We know you train to become a Maester, but what do they do? Maesters are scholars and healers who have completed their training at the Citadel. They can be sent by the Citadel to serve at the holding of a lord throughout the Seven Kingdoms. Maesters are only found in castles. If a lord does not have a Maester in his service, he is seen as unimportant. A lord has to pay the Citadel for the Maester's service, and the small folk believe that Maesters are unwilling to help them. Maesters wear a collar, which is supposed to remind them of the realm he serves. When he completes his education and takes his vows, a Maester puts aside his house name, although he is supposed to be loyal to the seat of which he is assigned, regardless of the changes of control of that holding. Old allegiances or loyalties might continue to linger. Lady Barbary Dustin expresses her distrust of Maesters and refers to them as grey rats, questioning their inherited house loyalties. Archmaesters. Archmaesters are Maesters who have demonstrated mastery of a particular subject. They receive a mask, ring, and rod in the metal corresponding to the link of the Maester's chain, which signifies their expertise on the subject. Archmaesters teach the students at the Citadel on their subject of expertise, and they judge whether a novice or an acolyte has shown enough knowledge on their subject to receive a link for their chain. Archmaesters have the right to sit on the conclave, a council which elects the Grand Maester and determines when seasons change. The meetings of the conclave are conducted behind closed doors at the Citadel. Each Archmaester is said to carry a heavy black iron key that opens most of the doors in the Citadel. They keep them close on their person or hide them well. The Seneschal. The governance of the Citadel is held by the Seneschal, who is chosen from among the Archmaesters. A new Seneschal is appointed annually. Because the Archmaesters tend to see the office as a thankless task that takes them away from their true work, the Seneschal is selected by lot, with the one who draws the black stone taking the office. When the Archmaester who draws the black stone is not capable of fulfilling his duties as Seneschal, another Archmaester might volunteer to serve his term instead. Grand Maesters. The office of Grand Maester was created 5 years after his conquest by Aegon Targaryen I, who asked for an Archmaester to advise him on the governing of the Seven Kingdoms. Sworn to serve the whole realm, the Grand Maester sits on the King's small council and acts as one of the royal advisors. As the Citadel's representative at the royal court of the King on the Iron Throne, the Grand Maester is selected by the conclave, and only the conclave can unmake him again. Although several Grand Maesters have died violently, King Maegor Targaryen I, also known as Maegor the Cruel, executed 3 of his Grand Maesters, Gawain, Myros, and Desmond. Aegon Targaryen II had Grand Maester Gerardis fed to his dragon Sunfire. Grand Maester Hareth is recorded in history as being executed on the grounds of treason, but it's not mentioned which king he served. Although the conclave puts effort into demonstrating their consideration of ability before birth, this is generally a pretense, as family status often affects their final choice for Grand Maester. More than 40 men have served the Iron Throne as Grand Maester. Also, the Grand Maester wears many interwoven maester chains with gemstones to indicate his high office, but these do not reflect his true studies. So what are the subjects that they learn and the tasks of a maester? Numerous subjects are taught at the Citadel. They include history, healing, herb lore, the speech of ravens, the building of castles, navigating by the stars, the measurement of days and the marking of seasons. Maesters have performed autopsies for centuries to better understand the workings of the human body. Some subjects are forbidden in the Citadel, including cutting open living people or practicing necromancy. Considering this is, all men, this is a bit concerning, but they have observed that highborn girls get their first period at a younger age than lower-born girls, and that very young mothers tend to have a significantly higher rate of death in childbirth. They make star maps, monitor temperature variations and the march of the seasons, so they can advise on what to plant and when to expect a harvest, and measure the length of days, as to determine the change of seasons. When the conclave has decreed that the seasons have indeed changed, the Citadel sends out white ravens to the lords of Westeros to herald the changing of seasons. Maesters advise their lords on the operation of their households and lands. Some lords trust their maesters to open and read letters and to convey their contents to them. Others prefer to do that for themselves. Maesters can be tasked with writing letters for their lords as well, and might be trusted to read and write the letters of those lords who are illiterate. They are in charge of and entrusted with using the ravens as messengers. Maesters assist in childbirth, treat illnesses, and teach children arithmetic, geometry, language, and history. Even among the maesters who have earned a Valyrian link, representing the higher mysteries, there are those who believe that, though magic might have once been a mighty force in the world, it no longer is. They describe Valyria as the last ember of magic, which went out with the doom. Most Archmaesters do not care much for the ideas concerning occult matters. The rare Archmaester who does, for example, Marwyn, can expect it to impact his reputation. It is said that all those who study the higher mysteries try their own hand at sorcery eventually, but always fail. Next up, we're going to talk about all of the Maesters that we know and their beefs. So, what do you think? How many links do you think that it takes to form your Maester's chain? And do you think that it's a worthwhile career down in Westeros? Because on the one hand, yeah, it's really cool that you get to go and learn a whole bunch of things. But on the other hand, imagine if you're set to serve some lord who just won't take your advice or wants you to write letters that you just do not feel comfortable with. Like either you're advising against it or they are just talking some absolute smack. Well, let me know what you think. Do you have any questions? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all of those good things. I'll see you next time. Cheerio.